when I first launched it, they're like, check the box if it's explicit. I'm like, no, I can be clean. One episode, Rosie. That's it. Everybody else is R-rated. I can't seem to not cuss.
Got it.
I'm a damaged human being. In fact, if you said, Bart, I'll pay you $1 million to do 90 minutes of clean material.
You might actually have brain damage.
Here's your money back.
Just curse.
But it's strange though. I did the live streams because I've done so much radio. I guess my brain knows how to not do it, but on stage it's very difficult for me. I think it's because I'm going for the funny.
Yeah.
You've been doing this 20 years. I or more.
Yeah, about 20.
Yeah. So I still want to get the funny, and I'm like, I haven't written all the same jokes clean.
Well, I think there's something that's like, are we recording? I don't know if we're recording.
Yeah. He snapped it.
Oh, cool. I think there's something to the cursing too. I think there's a part of you that wants to be very comfortable on stage, and there's something very comfortable with just like letting out,
whatever comes to mind. And free.
And in the moment,
Yeah.
So and I think people get it too. It's not like there's something. If I'm at a restaurant and the table next to me is just cursing up a storm, start looking around. Like,
sure.
Come on, this is inappropriate. But if you're in a
nightclub,
it makes sense.
Yeah. So you wrote a book, and
I did.
So I saw we performed last year together.
Yeah.
And I was backstage, so I didn't get to hear it all. This year, I got to hear your stuff, and it was great.
Thank you.
And it was edgy, and it was fun, and it was stuff that I was like, I don't know if I would be comfortable saying that in L.A. or New York. And you got away with it. People loved it.
Thanks.
I want all comedy to be like that. Like, I want to get back where you can say whatever is funny because it's funny. And it wasn't racist, and it wasn't condescending, but maybe you made fun of stereotypes. I liked that. Am I weird that I want more of that?
No, actually, I want you to want more of it, and to buy my book and give me money.
I'll pitch your book. I already bought it, but I'll pitch it to my people.
Well, thank you.
What's the name of the book?
That Joke Isn't Funny Anymore, on the death and rebirth of comedy.
And the first chapter, I didn't read all of it, was serious. Like, there was a serious tone about it. And does it ever get funny? Because it was serious that I saw, and maybe it was like, wait a second, this is like serious stuff. Like he's talking about something important.
Yeah, there are definitely jokes in the book. I've gotten some really good responses saying, even some people saying it's laugh out loud.
Oh, good.
Funny, not LOL. But they said it like they did the whole thing, laugh out loud, funny. I really enjoyed writing the book, and it's like when you're writing a book about comedy, it's like. There's that balance there of like, I don't want to be preachy, and I don't want to say like the same thing that people have been complaining about, and I want to entertain and be able to do all that stuff. So the book itself, I have 20 years plus in comedy, starting from improv and sketch comedy and stand-up, and the book was like a really great opportunity to sort of look back at how lucky I was to start out doing comedy when I was doing it, where you were expected to try stuff,
experiment, to make mistakes, to fail,
to bomb, and to learn from that, and then come back and hopefully be funnier. And then also like audiences, I think, were there too with that intention. Like I'm going to experience something, and there's who knows what's going to happen. Hopefully I laugh,
right.
But anything can happen. People are a lot more forgiving. And then with the book, I sort of track, something interesting happened around 2016. I don't know if anybody was, up on, politics, but, suddenly we had, the Donald Trump presidency, which came surprised, I think, everyone.
I think most people were surprised.
Yeah, there are a lot of people, especially like supporters, who are like, I knew it was going to happen. It's like, did you really know it was going to happen? And that changed a lot for people. Now, for me, it didn't really change anything, because the way that I was looking at it was, okay, I was preparing for Hillary Clinton to be our president.
So you're writing Hillary jokes?
Yeah, and I'm like, oh, cool. We're going to be doing this and this, and and then he comes, and then I'm like, oh man, all right. Well, I guess I got to toss out that material and now work on that. But, I operate with the understanding of, well, if you're a comedian, it doesn't matter who's in office. You should be able to make jokes. Little did I know, Trump was such an existential threat that, when a meteor is coming to Earth, you have to use everything you can to, break apart this meteor, to deflect it, or whatever you have to do. And if you're a comedian, well, what do you got? Well, you have jokes, right? So suddenly you had like this huge population of comedians that were just, aiming their weapons, at the president.
Right.
And there was you couldn't stray from that. For a lot of people, you couldn't stray from that. You couldn't let this guy, get an inch. You couldn't even make jokes about your own party if you were a Democrat.
Especially nighttime television. During that and COVID, I got all my news from the Daily Show, and they were all so. Trump was the punchline, and in all fairness, Obama was punchline too, but not near as much.
Right.
Biden not near as much because he gave you so much stuff.
Yeah.
My impression was, oh my God, this is going to be a fun 4 years.
Right.
This guy's hilarious. This guy's interesting. I thought it would be funny until it was sort of serious.
Yeah, and it was sort of there's something where it's you have all these shows, but it seems like they all have the same writer's room.
It does seem that way.
It's like you knew what the punchline was going to be, and I think in that situation, in that sort of time that we're in, it offered a great opportunity for comedians, like myself, to say oh well, there's all these other topics that nobody's touching, or all these different points of view. I'm going to do that, and I'm going to see what I can get away with that. And yeah, unfortunately, there's an audience that's hungry for that.
It did seem like they're all, and again, if you're not from America, the writers all live in L.A.
No.
There's a heavy liberal element to it, and he's Republican president, so it's very easy for them to write those jokes. But if you're from another country, he just looks like a weird clown with orange makeup on,
mm-hmm.
and he's easy to make fun of. Where did you go with your jokes, if not political stuff?
Well, let's see. One of the more successful videos that I had during the time of the Trump's presidency was a video called "Stop Making Me Defend Donald Trump," and the idea came from an actor that I work with often. He said he'd be on set, on downtime in between shots, and he'd overhear a conversation of people talking about Trump, and he'd be in his head well, that's not true. That's not right. What you're saying, and he has the type of personality where he has to go and say, "Hey guys, what you're saying,
he's compelled to argue."
Yeah, it's it's not true what you just said, and their first response would be "I didn't know you were a Trump supporter," and he's like, "Well, I'm not. I didn't vote.
I'm a truth supporter."
Yeah, I didn't vote for Donald Trump. I just I just don't think. I think you need to get it right. So he made a video. It's basically the day in the life of that guy.
Oh, that's funny.
So no matter what he says, people keep thinking that he's a Trump supporter, and it really it spoke to a lot of people. It's gotten millions of views across all these different platforms, and the number of people that would reach out to me and say, Lou, what you just made is basically a moment, it's a video of my life right now, because I hate the guy. I can't stand him. And yet I still feel it's incumbent upon me to point out oh no, he actually didn't say that, Right. This is all this other stuff we can be really upset about. So during the time, during that time I had a lot of fun just finding just different ways of taking on similar subjects that people were doing.
And last night, by the way, I'd love to infuse any of your stand-up in this interview if we can.
Sure, yeah.
Whatever you got. Because you just did jokes that I don't hear very often, mm-hmm. and you took perspectives that were, I would say, brave. At least that's what they call it now. 10 years ago, it was just funny. Now it's brave.
Wow. I am... I feel like I'm a Navy SEAL, right now.
The Navy SEAL of comedians?
Yeah, the stuff that I do, man. You guys, you're welcome. You're welcome out there. Last night was a lot of fun. Some of the jokes I came up on the spot. So
you don't have to tell me the joke because we can always play it. But topic wise, I always struggle figuring out what topic. And I can always find the funny in topics. But do you choose a particular topic because it's going to sort of make them lean in and almost get pissed off, or it comes out of a story of a relationship? Where do you start with a premise? I
think sometimes it starts with a good line. If you have a good, a good opening line, and I think that's been one of the cool things about something like Twitter, where I don't know how many characters it is now. I think it's 4,000 characters you could have. It's a little ridiculous, but there used to be a time where you had to fit in a thought in a certain limited amount of space, and it actually helped with writing. So
it was like headline
jokes.
Testing.
Yeah,
you tested the joke.
Yeah.
And then if you get a lot of haters, a lot of likers, you're hey, this has got some juice.
Yeah, and it's
or if they ignored it,
right,
bad.
Exactly. And it's like, oh, cool, there might be something here. And then you start like stringing together like really, like kind of well-crafted one-liners. And then, boom, that might open into something larger. And one of the things that, I think like a topic a lot of people know about is like 23andMe.
Right.
It's like a really popular thing.
And I actually took it recently.
Did you take it?
Yeah, I'm 0.4% Black African.
Did you? Yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah. Can you tell?
Yeah, you're definitely you're passing as white right now. I think that's how we put it.
I'm gonna identify as white from now on. Yeah. I feel like a racist because I'm 99.5% white. English, but I feel like I should honor that part of me.
Right. Oh, yeah.
I'm so white, like pasty, England. Everything's England, Irish, and I'm like, I know.
Do you want to go back like and just see like how that whatever percent got in there? Like what was that party like?
It was a good party.
Yeah, it must have been a good party.
This is actually very, very funny. So I'm dating this girl who's Dominican Republic, and we were taking the 23andMe, and we were laughing about this exact conversation. And she is white. But her dad is Dominican Republic, and she's from Austria, and she basically was like making a joke, like, look at my hair. Yep. Like, I know somewhere up in the tree that there's a BBC.
Yeah.
And she actually said that, and she's like, oh, is that bad? And I'm like, no, look at your hair. Obviously somewhere up in the family tree.
Yeah.
And she was just so like nervous to say that joke, and I'm like, right. You have a drop of blood.
Yeah.
You get to say that I don't.
Wow. Yeah, that is one of the gifts. And one of the gifts of 23andMe is I found out I'm 4.8% indigenous American.
Okay.
So it's sort of like when it's funny because does that really change anything about me, like my day to day? It's just kind of like, oh, that's kind of a cool thing. And just sort of like taking that, I'm like, man, what if I leaned into that? If I leaned into, if I was the type of person who really took like identitarian politics seriously and like my bloodline really seriously, where could I go with that comedically, And so that's the thing where it's sort of like allowing yourself to to be open to the possibilities.
But I love that it started with a little bit of truth.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, you're like, I am 4%, so I think I should own part of the football team, right?
Yeah. It's yeah. Right now we're in Memphis, so I'm sure we're on stolen land. So technically, I should get 4.8% of that stolen land. I don't know how we're doing. I think my people are from like South America, but I wonder if there's like this pan-indigenous zone where it's we each get a little bit.
My buddy from college, he didn't mind coming. He's in the band called Steel Panther.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
He's a bassist, and he's been friends with him years. He is either 20% or 5% Native American. And he's like, dude, I get checks.
Wow.
I go, you don't look Indian. And he goes, I go, apparently somewhere up the family tree gets, but why would I not get a check? And then for a while he lived in Alaska, and they like pay you to live in Alaska.
Wow.
And he was so smart at working the system. And I'm like, well, don't you ever go to like a reunion or a casino and you say hi to your people? He's like, no, I just want the money.
Right.
But I am technically 5% whatever Native American or Washington State. And I kind of thought that was kind of funny because like, I'm glad they're giving back. We raped and pillaged their land. Okay, give them 5% of the oil money. It makes sense to me.
Yeah, my body's 4.8%. The rest of it's been raped and pillaged. It's like this. I would be a lot more if it wasn't for, the conquistadors or whatever, coming over and doing their thing.
No one ever talks about how much rape and pillaging was happening just so we could sit here. It's
right.
kind of dark.
It's very dark. And how often, like how much can you do,
like generations?
Oh, I was thinking of just like your work day, because because like I don't know if you guys have ever been to a festival, but I have like no energy to rape and pillage right now.
Well, it's only 2:00.
I know, maybe after a nap, a good nap, and then I can get back to it.
So you're a Mongolian. You're
Right.
you're busting through northern China, and it's 2:00, and you're like, Bruce, I can't do another one, man.
Can't do another. Well,
but there's so many women and children that need to be murdered and their husbands.
Well,
Get off your ass and rape and pillage.
Well, how does it work with the Mongolians? Because isn't it like Genghis Khan?
He was the biggest murderer in history.
Right. So
half of his DNA across Persia, Genghis Khan.
Well, that's what I mean.
His little sperm, not even the. Yes, that guy was the biggest rape and pillager.
So was he? Yeah. So were his men just pillaging and he was doing the raping?
Maybe he. I mean, it seems that way.
Yeah,
he has like thousands of kids.
Yeah.
Do you think they pillaged? But he was never second. He was Genghis Khan.
I know. He'd have to be the. Yeah.
No, everyone else got sloppy seconds.
Yeah.
This is an important topic. We should go documentary on.
Yeah. We should. Yeah, we're looking for funding for this. this documentary will never be made. We're just definitely looking for funding. Maybe maybe I can get some some 4.8% scholarship money.
American money.
Yeah.
American money. One of the things I do is I analyze handwriting, and you were nice enough to write cursive for me, which you probably don't do often, right?
I tell you what, it took me so long to write out whatever the hell that is, and to remember what does a D look like in cursive? Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you don't do it in 10 or 15 years, you forget.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unconsciously, it does remember, so it's useful for me. But sometimes I just kind of ignore the cursive and go with the printing. So I'll start with the printing because I know it's accurate, right? The downward Y's mean a fierce need to be independent and not need people, as well as determination. Those are really good success traits.
I don't know if you want to go.
Sure, go ahead.
Each one and comment,
it's a conversation opener.
I hate owing people something. There's something about that where I'm the type I want to pay my debt and I'm done. I once had an experience. It was in a deli, and I had a 20, and the thing was like what was it? It was like $18 or something like that, and the guy didn't have change, and he said, well, you come back later, and I'm like, no, we take care of this now. I'm not looking to owe anybody anything. I'm not, I came here, I have what I was supposed to do, what I was supposed to have. I'm not owing anybody.
So in psychology and the books, that tends to relate to how you do relationships, meaning how much alone time you need, how much space you need. In that relationship, do you have that conversation of like, look, I actually like my own company. I actually need to be alone, even though I'm super affectionate. Is that a conversation you have with your?
Yeah. I'm married, and we have 2 kids, a 3-year-old and a 20-month-old. So I haven't slept in 3 years. So whatever. Right now, this seems like an interrogation like that. I feel like I've been kept up, and I'm just going to start.
We're going to waterboard you next.
Yeah.
So.
I'm going to give up everybody. But yeah, I'm one of those people. I'm very comfortable being by myself. Yeah.
That's great. You have something unusual. You have a circle I dot, which I've seen in all the textbooks. I don't see it much in real life. It means a desire for creativity or a desire to be noticed as different. So one of the worst compliments is, yeah, you're just vanilla. You're like all those other guys. Yeah. You're like, no, I'm different. Like, I think that's one of your drivers, right?
I think so. My aim is for, originality and trying to get my voice out there.
I love that. It's interesting. I don't have that in my handwriting, but I took a painting class, and then about a month later, I started circling my eye dots, and I was like, well, this is weird.
Oh, yeah?
I'm now being more creative, so my handwriting changed. I thought that was really odd. Yeah. This loop here is fluidity of thinking, which we would expect that from a comedian for sure. You've got a little issue. Now, if this is correct, because this cursive you don't really remember how to do there, but there was a slight issue with sort of some strong, challenging women in your past. Is that related to a past girlfriend or a mother?
Wait,
or mother image?
How do you get that from there?
There's this weird hook in the A, which means that in your mind you're like, really, I get kind of bored with really, really nice people, but really challenging people that frustrate me, but it's fun because they're unpredictable, like a slot machine.
Wow.
Was that your past relationships, and is this any different? Did you finally cure yourself of that need for constant drama?
Oh man, before my wife and I, we have our share of drama, but before then I was in a relationship like 4.5 years of like toxicity, breaking up like every day.
That's exhausting. You think waterboarding is exhausting?
Oh my God, yeah.
Break up with a girl every day for 4 years?
Every day, yeah.
2 more things, and we got to run because they're kicking us out of here. Fluidity of thinking, pride and self-respect, very important. You don't need them to like you, but better respect you. Awesome trait. And sarcasm, which we know. Your self-esteem is actually good, which means you have a big ego, but you're also humble. So there's this weird dynamic of your own internal dialogue being hard on yourself, but also the ego, which says you can have to say like, what can I do to promote you, brother? TheLouPerez.com?
Yeah, my website, TheLouPerez.com. There's all my tour dates and videos that I produce, and also a link to my book. That Joke Isn't Funny Anymore.
Joke Isn't Funny Anymore. And man, I think you're great. Would you come by the LA studio and do this again sometime?
I would love that, Bart.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming out, man.
Thank you.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you like this video, come to Freedom Fest, a big conference of free thinkers. I'll be here, all these great guests we found here, and there's a coupon code, BART50 at the checkout, freedomfest.com.